Okay, Chair, we're live on YouTube.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everybody. I'd like to call the meeting to order for the Windward Planning Commission on Thursday, February 3rd. I can see in Commissioner Galimba's background that the weather is nice in Kauai, and I hope everybody is having nice weather right now. Today is a beautiful day. Okay, thank you. So in pursuant to the governor's emergency proclamation related to Sunshine Law, in-person meeting dates dated December 29, 2021, the requirement to have at least one in-person meeting location has been suspended through February 28, 2022. No in-person meeting location will be provided during this time period unless the suspension is earlier terminated or superseded by a separate proclamation. The public can observe this meeting on YouTube live stream by following the link provided on the county website calendar or by using the URL advertised on the agenda. The video recording will be available on the same YouTube channel. The minutes and transcripts will also be posted on the county website at a later date. I'd like to remind all the participants the protocol for this meeting. Silence your phone and any other devices near you. Only one person may speak at a time, so raise your hand to be recognized by the chair before you speak. Speak directly into your microphone and keep your microphone muted while you're not speaking. If you talk over each other or if your microphones pick up noise, the dialogue cannot be transcribed. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to introduce our commissioners. So if you could raise your hand, Commissioner Joe Clarkson.
Good morning, everyone.
Commissioner Thomas Rafferty.
Aloha.
Commissioner Dennis Lin.
Good morning.
Commissioner Michelle Galimba.
Aloha.
And Commissioner Gilbert Algonado is excused. And is Commissioner Rapogo on? Oh, there you are. And Commissioner John Rapogo. Good morning, John. And I am Chair Dean Au. We do have quorum to hold today's meeting. I would like to also introduce our beloved staff that does such hard work for us every month and throughout the year. Deputy Corporation Counsel Cody Friends.
Morning, I'm here covering for Malia Kikai.
Thank you. Deputy Corporation Counsel Jean Campbell.
Good morning.
Director Zendel Kern.
Good morning, all.
I don't see Jeff here. Planner Tracy Camaro.
Good morning.
Oh, there you are. Deputy Director Jeff Darrow. Planning Program Manager Maya Jackson. And Windward Planning Secretary Melissa Daikanan Salvador. So thank you everybody for being here. At this time, I'd like to have confidence that our fellow commissioners have reviewed the January 6, 2020 minutes. And if there's no changes to the minutes, I can entertain a motion.
I move to approve. Michelle.
Yep, we can work with our.
I'll second that.
Okay, so first by, the motion was made by Commissioner Galimba and seconded by Commissioner Lin. And we can just go ahead. Is there any discussions? Nope. If not, we can go ahead and take a voice vote. So if you're all in favor, please indicate so by waving or say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion has passed. Thank you, everybody. At this time, I'd like to entertain any testifiers. Do we have any oral testifiers?
No, we do not, Chair.
Okay. Great. Well, I guess since we have no oral testifiers, there's no need to motion to close sorry, excuse me, my papers.
Public testimony, Chair Au.
Okay, so we'll just go ahead and go into agenda item number 1. And agenda item number 1 is due to scheduling issues, it's going to be rescheduled to March 3rd. Is that right, Maya?
That's correct. It will be on your next month's agenda.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. So I guess we'll just move on to applicant number 2, which is, and I do see the applicants on the screen. Good morning. The applicant is Garvin and Laura Gold. Application for a change of zone from agricultural 20 acres to a family agricultural 2 acres zoning district for approximately 9.581 acres of land. The subject property is located at 27-2365 Hawaii Belt Road, 300 feet west Mauka of its intersection with Kaloa Camp Road, portions of Ale Mai and Kalaoa South Hilo, Hawaii TNK 3278130. So can I get the applicant and the applicant's representative? And I see you, Mr. Fuke. Okay, so can you, I'm gonna have to swear you guys all in, so can you please raise your hand? Do you swear to affirm to tell the truth on this matter now before the Windward Planning Commission?
I do.
Okay, thank
I
you,
do.
Mr. Fuke. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Gold. So please state your name and the town that you live in, and you can go ahead with your.
Point of order, Chair.
Uh,
I believe staff presentation first.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, excuse me. Staff presentation. Thank you, Commissioner Lin.
That would be the, let me just get my screen up and share it with you all. Okay, sorry. Okay, good morning, Chair and members of the Windward Planning Commission. The application that you have before you today is the Laura and Garvin Goody Changes Zone Application number PLREZ 2021-000003. The subject parcel is located within the South Hilo district within the Papaikou area and shown on your screen by the star. Highway 19 runs in a north to south direction on your screen. The applicant is requesting a change of zone to reclassify the subject property from agricultural 20 acres to family agricultural 2 acres zoning district for approximately 9.581 acres of land. The reasons for the request is that if the requested land use entitlement change is approved, the applicants propose to subdivide the property into 3 lots in order to convey 2 of the 3 proposed lots to their family members. This is the county zoning map for the subject property, which is outlined in yellow. The current zoning for the subject property and the neighboring properties is agricultural 20 acres. Properties to the east and across the highway are zoned single-family residential 10,000 square feet as shown or as indicated by the yellow on your screen. This is the state land use boundary map. The subject property again is outlined in red for your convenience. The subject property is located within the state land use designation of agricultural. As you can see, there's the urban designation further east and to the right of your screen, as indicated by the pink. This is the land use pattern allocation guide map. The subject property is outlined in red for your viewing. The light green color indicates the important agricultural land designation, and the goldenrod color is indicated the low density urban designation. While the property is designated as IAL and LDU, given the broad brush nature of the LUPAG map, the planning director has determined that the subject property is situated within the LDU LUPAG designation, which would accommodate the applicant's request for the FA zoning. This is the Hämakua CDP map. The subject property is located within the Hämakua CDP, which does encompass the judicial districts of Hämakua to North Hilo and portions of South Hilo. The subject property is actually hidden beneath this legend map. I put a star on the legend map to show the approximate area that the subject property is located within the Hämakua CDP. It is located within an important agricultural land designation, and as you can see, there's a lot of the low density urban designation located within this area. This is an aerial view of the subject property. The property is irregular in shape and located south of Highway 19. The property is bisecting by the Kalaoa Camp Road, which you can see runs across your screen. There are 2 existing dwellings located on the property and several farm-related structures. This is one dwelling, and this is the other dwelling. Access to the property is from Kalaoa Camp Road, which is an existing 12-foot wide pavement within a 30-foot wide roadway easement that bisects the property, like I mentioned earlier. The private roadway is accessed by Highway 19, which is a state-owned highway, and you can see it's at the top right-hand corner of your screen. The applicants are currently eligible to have a total of 3 dwellings on the subject property, 2 of which are defined as additional farm dwellings, and 1 is defined as a single-family dwelling that is currently being operated as a bed and breakfast. The single-family dwelling is located here. This is one of the additional farm dwellings, and the second additional farm dwelling will be located within this area. This is the proposed site plan that was submitted by the applicant's representative. For easier viewing, I've modified the subject property in red. What the applicants are proposing to do is subdivide the subject parcel into 3 lots, which consist of approximately 3.7 acres, which would be this lot. Then you have a 2.8 acre property and a 2.083 acre property, which will also be exclusive of the 1 acre road and utility easement that bisects the property. Excuse me. As mentioned earlier, 2 of the 3 lots would be conveyed to family members, and each would contain a farm dwelling, while the lot with a single family dwelling will still be retained for the bed and breakfast used by the applicant. On your screen, you have site photos of the subject property. The photo on your left is a photo facing the property to the east, showing you Kalaoa Camp Road. This portion of Kalaoa Camp Road is not the applicant's property. However, this portion on the right is the beginning of the applicant's property where the single family dwelling currently exists. The photo on the right is the site of the second additional farm dwelling, and further west along Kalaoa Camp Road. This again is the site where the second additional farm dwelling has not been built. However, the entitlement for the additional farm dwelling has been given to the applicant, and they intend to start construction on that additional dwelling soon, if I'm not mistaken. Lastly, on your screen, you have a view of the existing single family dwelling on your left-hand side. This is the dwelling that the applicants currently operate their 3-bedroom bed and breakfast. I'm sorry, this is the left of your screen. On the right of your screen, you have a view of the existing first additional farm dwelling that was constructed and completed. This is, both of the dwellings are proposed to stay as is, and none of the dwellings are proposed to be modified in any way at the moment. At this time, the planning director is recommending that the Windward Planning Commission forward a favorable recommendation to the County Council for change of zone application number PLREZ 2021-000003. That concludes my presentation, and I can turn the floor back to the chair.
Thank you, Tracy, for that thorough presentation.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, go ahead, Commissioner Pogo. Do you have any questions for staff?
no, I have a question for you. May I have 1 minute to go get my hearing aids?
Okay, you can go ahead. Should we go ahead and take a recess for 5 minutes then? And then we can go.
It'll only take me seconds.
Okay,
There was something mentioned about us being on screen during the whole thing.
okay, well, you can go ahead and get it, and we'll just, we have quorum, so it's okay for us to carry on.
Okay,
So at this time, I did swear in the applicant and the applicant's representative. And I'm sorry, oh, sorry, Cody, do you have a question?
Not a question, just a comment before we get started with the applicant's presentation. Just a quick disclosure for the applicants and the entire commission. I also, in my work capacity, represent the Liquor Adjudication Board that Mr. Fouquet is on. So I do work with Mr. Fouquet regularly in that regard, once a month, typically. I'm also classmates with his son from Waikea High School, and it's a good friend of mine. So I just wanted to disclose that. I always believe in full disclosure and ensure that the applicants, for example, have no concern and that no board member has a concern, or commissioner, excuse me, has a concern. So just a disclosure. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that disclosure. So at this time, I'd like to go into the presentation, and Mr. and Mrs. Giddy, I'm sorry, I think I said your name wrong. Is it Giddy or Godi?
Good.
It's good.
Good. Oh, it's good. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm
It's all
so
good.
watching your last name. I apologize, but
All right. That's okay.
please go ahead with your presentation, Mr. Fuke or Mr. and Mrs. Good.
Sure. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Yes, the applicant's name is Good. The E is silent. And also relative to Ms. Brent's comment, yeah, we absolutely have no qualms about like her participation in this. She's very honorable. Although we serve on the liquor adjudication board together, I'm sure that we both can make our respective objective, decisions and provide our opinions objectively. Generally, your staff's presentation, as always, is very comprehensive, well thought out, and the recommendation. Those both items were reviewed by Mr. and Mrs. Good and myself, and they found them to be very comprehensive and acceptable, including the conditions. We really don't have too much more to add, to the staff spectrum report, except that we'd just like to make one additional comment, I guess, and that is that, as the staff noted, they requested, two comments, I think so. As the staff noted, the subject property is like 9+ acres. And conceivably, we could have gone in for like an FA 3-acre zone. But because the way the property is configured and you have the existing Kalawa Road easement, which actually the property belongs to the Goods, but it's a roadway. So it just made the subdivision of the land difficult in terms of trying to create 3 acres, 3-acre properties. And so as a result, the applicant came in with the FA 2-acre zone, but effectively it's going to be a 3-acre lot subdivision, and that's about it. Although mathematically you could create like an additional lot, but that is not going to be, I guess, from a configuration standpoint, doable. The other thing kind of wanted to mention is that there are, as the staff noted, that there are 2 existing residences on the property, and they currently have a building permit application now for the 3rd dwelling, which is going through the process right now. So at the end of the day, if the rezoning is approved, from a density standpoint, you're not really increasing the density of the project, of the subject property, because you already have permission to have construct 3 dwellings, and that's all you're going to have on the property. The primary intent, so one might ask then, okay, so if you have permission to construct 3 dwelling, and 2 of them are going to be conveyed to your children, then why the rezoning? Well, the idea behind the zone change is to enable them to subdivide the land such that each of the different area where you have your home could be conveyed easily, without having to be conveyed on an undivided interest basis. So that's the idea behind the subdivision. Also, we know that for financing purposes, it becomes easier if you have your own TMK number rather than having it encumbered by the balance of the property. The staff's recommendation, I think, in condition F has a condition that requires that prohibits the construction of any additional dwelling, on the respective 2+ acre site property. So that effectively closes the door on having any more residences on the 9-acre site. So I think essentially then what you have is what you see is what you have, and all you have is this line going through the respective property to create separate TMKs, and in essence, that's the nature of the project. And we request the commission's favorable consideration of the goods request. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Fouquet, for that presentation. And you did state for the record that you agree with the planning director's recommendation.
Yes, yeah.
So Mr. and Mrs. Good, would you guys like to say something?
I think everyone said it just right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, commissioners, do you have any questions for the applicant or staff? Commissioner Galimba, go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to be clear. So Mr. Fuki said that there already is sorry, my dog is here with me. There already is a second dwelling and there's a permit for a third. So there will not be any further dwellings constructed. And so what I'm understanding is that the way that this is going to be divided, it'll put that second existing dwelling on one lot, and then they'll be building the building that they already have a permit for on the third lot. Is my understanding correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you very much.
Commissioner Rapogo.
I'd like to move for a favorable recommendation to the county council on the application for the change of zone docket number Res 2021-003 based on the planning director's recommendations, which shall be adopted.
Okay, so Commissioner Rapogo has made a motion, but Commissioner Clarkson has raised his hand. So can we hold on? Let's hold on to that motion. And Commissioner Clarkson, did you have a question?
Yes, I did. I just wanted to make sure, this is a question for staff, that during the issuance of the permits, the second and third farm dwelling permits, there were no conditions in the issuance of those permits which would conflict with any of the conditions of the rezone. And just as an aside, how is it, I have heard of second farm dwelling for a given parcel, but not a second and third, not a third farm dwelling. Can somebody just explain how you get more than one farm dwelling permit?
So I apologize, Commissioner Clarkson. So the first farm dwelling, the applicants came in and they proved to us that they had adequate farming on the property to get the first farm dwelling, which is the existing structure that's closest to this existing single family dwelling. More recently, if I'm not mistaken, the goods, please correct me if I'm wrong, it was either in 2018 or 2020 within those two areas that you guys work with the department to get the second additional farm dwelling, where you guys also kind of proved to us the need for that additional farm dwelling for your house, to house your farm workers, to support the farm business that you guys had on the property at the time. We just encountered kind of a department discrepancy in the second additional farm dwelling where the department, we got the recordation papers, however, it wasn't forwarded to the Bureau. So we were working with the goods on completing that actually very recently. So that's how they got the total of the 3 dwellings on the property. If this change of zone is approved, one of the conditions is that we will have them cancel those farm dwelling agreements. So then essentially each property will only be allotted the 1 dwelling per property if the final subdivision gets approved as well.
And if I may, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Director.
Thank you. Just to kind of add on to Commissioner Clarkson's question, property can have more than 1 or 2 or 3 additional farm dwellings if they meet criteria of actually having, an active farm. It's been a bit kind of subjective in a certain way. So we're looking as a department to just.
Sorry, Director Kern, we can't hear you.
Oh,
After you said they can have 3 or more, assuming they prove, and I lost you. I'm not sure about anyone else.
how about that?
Thank you.
Some reason it connected to that and it's not even open. So yeah, I just, there is the opportunity for additional farm dwellings as long as they meet the criteria that they're actively engaging in the farming and on that scale. So that opportunity does exist.
So just to add to that, I think what might be a little confusing is that the building permit for which the dwelling is being applied for right now, that's considered like the second farm dwelling on the property. The existing bed and breakfast is not considered as a farm dwelling. So when they constructed the second dwelling on the property, that was considered the first farm dwelling. And the one they recently got approved, I think in 2020 maybe, that was then considered the second dwelling for which the building permit is now being processed for.
Well, I'd ask the director to clarify that just for me, because maybe I'm wrong. It was my understanding that any home constructed on an agricultural lot was considered the first farm dwelling. That all homes had to be farm dwellings according to state law, and that the second home constructed was the second farm dwelling. So therefore, the third home here would be the third farm dwelling. Am I mistaken, or can you?
If I can just add to that, I think that's probably true, Commissioner Clarkson. However, when the special permit was issued for the bed and breakfast, that eliminated that structure, that dwelling from being considered a farm dwelling.
There's also additional nuance that we can go into outside of that, just for your awareness, that if the lot was created prior to June 4th, 1976, it's classified as a residence. And then the next dwelling would be a farm dwelling and so forth. So there is a little bit of back and forth on that. We're probably getting into the weeds, but it can happen.
Thank you for that clarification.
Thank you, Commissioner Clarkson, for that question. Thank you, Director, staff, and Mr. Fouquet for answering that question. Are there any other questions for staff or for the applicant? Okay, if there's no further questions for them, there is a motion on the floor by Commissioner Rapogo to approve a favorable recommendation to the County Council. Can I get a second?
Mr. Chair, I second the motion.
Okay, Commissioner Rafferty has seconded the motion. Let's go into discussion. Any commissioners want to discuss? Nope. If there's no discussion, staff, can we get our roll call, please?
Yes. Commissioner Replogo,
Aye.
Commissioner Rafferty,
Aye.
Commissioner Clarkson, Commissioner Galimba,
Aye.
Commissioner Lin,
Aye.
and Chair Al.
Aye.
The motion carries 6-0 with Commissioner Aguinaldo excused.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, applicant. You will be notified in writing. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Chairman and Commission.
So now at this time, I'd like to go into unfinished business. Applicant John Hewitt and Patrina Nui Hewitt. Consideration and adoption of proposed findings of facts, conclusion of law, and decision of order for the denial of special permit. Number PL SPP 2021-00005 for the operation of a self-storage and mailing service facility and related improvements on an approximately 1.64 acre property in the state land use agricultural district. The subject property is located at 16-308 Ainaola Boulevard in Orchid Land Estate subdivision, approximately 1 mile southwest of its intersection with Kealakua Road or Highway 130, directly across from Aina Loa Longhouse Complex, Orchid Land Estate subdivision, Keal, Hawaii TMK 316008328.
Just one clarification. Chair, you said Aina Ola. I just want to correct that to Aina Loa. That's all.
Yes, thank you for the correction. So can I get a motion for action, commissioners?
Go ahead, John.
I move that the proposed findings of fact, conclusion of law, decision of order be approved as adopted.
I
Thank you,
second.
Commissioner Pogo. Thank you, Commissioner Lin. So motion was made by Commissioner Rapogo and seconded by Commissioner Lin. Any discussions? If no discussions, let's go ahead into our roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Rapogo,
Aye.
Commissioner Lin,
Aye.
Commissioner Clarkson, Commissioner Galimba,
Aye.
Commissioner Rafferty,
Aye.
and Chair Ao.
Aye.
The motion carries 6-0 with Commissioner Aguinaldo excused.
Thank you, Mr. Pippin. You will be notified in writing. Okay, at this time, I'd like to go into our planning director's report. Or if our director's not here, our deputy director.
Nothing to add. Maya, did you have an update on the SMA? Is that what,
Yeah, so Chair Al, we sent out the logs to the commission, I think earlier this week. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you have on SMA permitting.
Commissioners, do you have any questions for staff regarding the SMA report? No. Thank you for the report, staff. It's very thorough. Really appreciate all the hard work that you guys are doing. But yeah, if there's no questions, or is there anything on the SMA report that you'd like to bring up, staff?
No, not at this time.
Okay. Can we, what does our agenda look like for the next meeting?
Let's see, let me pull that up for you real quick here. Give me one moment, I'm sorry. Hold on just a moment. My computer is especially slow right now. Okay. So for the March 3rd meeting, we have one item on the agenda. That was the item number 1 that was postponed today. So it should be a fairly short meeting next month.
Hey, Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, Commissioner Rafferty.
Just wondering, just for my scheduling purposes, just want to know if I will still be required to attend I will still be here the next meeting, or my 90 days is already up and over.
So Commissioner Rafferty, we do have Mr. Wayne Deleuze that was nominated to fill your seat for Puna. He has gone through the planning committee at the county council and he received a favorable recommendation. So the next meeting for the council would be when they confirm him. If that is successful, then you would not need to attend the March meeting. So I will be in touch with you after the next council meeting to let you know for sure.
Thank you, Maya.
You're welcome.
And I assume for me and who else is
Me.
that so far nobody has been initiated the process of being approved for our positions.
So we have just received a nomination for your seat, Commissioner Clarkson. Lauren Baylog was nominated, and her nomination will be going to the Planning Committee and the County Council. So I don't know at this time whether she'll be confirmed prior to the March meeting, but I will keep in touch with you as well and let you know if you need to attend the March meeting. And then for Chair I'm sorry, for Commissioner Replogle, we do not have somebody to fill your seat at this time. So if you could attend the March meeting, we would greatly appreciate that.
Should I nominate someone?
Are you going to nominate yourself?
No.
5 more years.
Okay, well, thank you, staff. Is there any more information or anything else that we need to know prior to the next meeting?
I don't think so.
Okay, if not, then our next meeting is going to be on Thursday, March 3rd. Commissioner Rapogo, did you have a question for staff?
No, I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, all right, well, motion to adjourn the February Windward Planning Commission meeting. A motion was made by Commissioner Rapogo. Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Clarkson. So thank you all. If you are in favor, please indicate by waving or say aye.
Aye.
I thank you, everybody. Thank you for your time. And this meeting is adjourned at 9:41 a.m.
Thank you all for your service. Have a great one.
Nice to see you all.
Hello.